Throughout our lives as autistics, there will be times, and there are times, we feel more autistic than other times. In previous videos, I shared what does feeling more autistic mean and look like, and a video why that explains why you feel more autistic as you age. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you what you can do when you're feeling more autistic. So let's get started. Hey, Define Yourselfers, I am the Confident Autistic from theconfidentautistic.com. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I am an autistic adult, late diagnosed, a multi-certified life coach, and an advocate for autistic adults who is on a mission to empower you to embrace autism confidently. Now, if this resonates with you, please consider supporting my mission. There are many ways you can support my mission, including liking, sharing, and commenting on this video, or by subscribing to this channel. And when you do subscribe, please do not forget to click on the bell, and then you'll be notified when new videos are posted and when I go live. What does feeling more autistic mean? The feeling of being more autistic typically means experiencing a heightened intensity of autistic traits or challenges, including increased sensory sensitivity, increased social anxiety, increased difficulty with communication, or rigid thinking patterns. What causes us to feel more autistic? Excellent question. Feeling more autistic is often due to stressful situations, changes in our environment, or simply a greater awareness of one's own autistic needs and how they may be impacting daily life. Not to mention our natural aging process. As we get older, our health is going to change, possibly decline. Uh, and we're going to have other changes going in our life. Relationships may change, loved ones may pass away, friendships may drift apart, etc. And all these changes going on in our life, and the uncertainty of the future as we age, not knowing what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, which is really hard on us autistics at any age. Because we like predictability, we like routine, or at least most of us do. I know I like predictability and routine, can cause us to have more of a feeling that we're more autistic now than we were in our earlier years of life. Now, for a deeper dive including 7 autistic characteristics that, when increased, can cause you to feel more autistic, watch the video entitled What Does Feeling More Autistic Mean and Look Like? I have a link up here at the top of the screen, and there's also one in this video description. And if you're interested in knowing more about why we feel more autistic as we get older, as we age, watch the video of why do we feel more autistic as we age. A link to it up in the corner and in the video descriptions. And I'm sure you'll enjoy those videos. Now, the reason you came to this video is to find the answer to what you can do when you're feeling more autistic. Well, when you're feeling more autistic than usual, there are 4 categories of strategies that you should try to help you get through and recover from feeling more autistic. The first strategy is self-care. When you're feeling more autistic than normal, try taking a break from everything. Just take a few steps away from any demanding situation and allow yourself time to relax. While you're taking a break from it all, try some mindfulness and deep breathing exercises. You may wish to engage in techniques to manage stress and anxiety. And for each of us, we're going to have different techniques that help us manage stress and anxiety. So find one that works really well for you. Another thing that you could do as part of self-care, especially when you're feeling more autistic than usual, is to engage in some calming activities, such as focusing in on your hobbies you enjoy. And this can be focusing in on your special interests. You may also enjoy listening to music, calming, relaxing music. I don't recommend heavy metal, but if that calms and relaxes you, hey, go for it. Okay, it might doesn't mean, but if it works for you, that's fine. Whatever works for you, there's no right or wrong. And another engaging, calming activity could be reading, drawing, or spending time in nature. Whatever activity you do that helps you calm down, that makes you feel calm, engage in it. And while we're talking about this, why don't you share in the comments? What are some of your calming activities that when you engage in these activities, you feel calm or help calm you down? What helps you by you sharing it could be an idea for somebody else in our community who struggles with finding something to do to calm them down. And maybe you could be helping someone. That's what it should all be about. What I want this to be about is we help one another. There's a lot of resources out there for parents and for children who are on the spectrum, and it's sometimes hard to find resources and advice and strategies and techniques for adults on the spectrum. So the best resources we can find is connecting and learning from each other. So please share what activities you engage in that are calming in the comments. Love to see them, and I do read them. Trust me, I read them all. And do not forget to hydrate and eat healthily. Speaking of hydrated, I need a drink. But do not forget to hydrate and eat healthily. Be sure that you are adequately nourished because that's important because that nourishment that you put into your body will support you energy levels, especially during challenging times when we're more stressed, we're more anxious, which are two of the most common mental health issues that come along with autism or the autistic people battle on a regular basis along with depression. And if we are properly nourished, we can have the energy to push through the times that are stressful, push through the times that we feel anxious, and to push through our feelings of feeling more autistic than normal. Now, the second category of strategy that we can be trying and we should be doing when we're feeling more autistic than others is sensory management or regulation. And the first thing you should do in the area of sensory management is to reduce stimulation, if at all possible. Sometimes it's out of your hands, but whenever possible, you need to be doing this. Now, this may require you to find a quiet space with minimal noise and visual distractions. Part of the taking the break. When you take a break, where should you take that break at? You want to find a space that's quiet with minimum noise and minimal visual distraction. When I go to events or people's homes or whatever, one of the first things I do is I start to, scope out the house and stalk it a little bit, and not in the way like I'm going to come back later. That TV will look really nice in my living room. No, 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 I'm not casing it that way. But I'm looking for where can I go if I feel I need to get away for a moment. Many places, the bathroom's a great retreat spot because nobody usually bothers you in a restroom or maybe stepping out the front porch or whatever works for you. So when you go to a strange environment, you do want to kind of develop that plan. That'd be one of the first things you do when you get there, especially if it's a new environment. And and have a strategy because when you take the break, you want to find that quiet space with minimum noise and visual distraction because those are areas that we have sensory issues with. Could be noise, a visual distraction. I'm bothered by a lot of noise. I'm noise sensitive, especially if a lot of people talk at the same time or loud sounds and high pitched sounds. Oh gosh, don't even get me started on that. It's one of my pet peeves. And visual distraction. I love my wife. I say this in all my videos, and I really do. She can thrive in clutter. It drives me up a wall as sensory overload. Today, I know it's hard to see in the camera. We don't get a good angle. I was able to clean off the top of my desk, and I have this giant white spot. There's nothing on, practically nothing on it, and I just stare at it, and it's so calming to me just to stare at this empty desk, no clutter on it. I love it. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Another thing you could do to help with sensory management is to use some of your favorite sensory tools. And this can include fidget toys, weighted blankets, calming music, or other tactile items that provide comfort. For me, one of my sensory tools is my needle ball. I love the squeeze of it. I love the feel of it, and that helps me stay regulated. I also use weighted blankets at times, and I have a Warmy. It's a Golden Lab. I got it off of Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the video description. And by the way, if you use that link, I'm an Amazon affiliate. And when you use that link and you use that link to purchase something on Amazon, I may earn a commission. And that's another way you can support the mission that I'm working on. And I would appreciate your support. But anyway, I put this Golden Lab stuffed one into, I call it his electric doghouse, aka microwave, warm him up for about a minute, and then he emits a lavender scent, which is so calming and soothing to me and helps me with my sensory regulation or with anxiety or stress for so many things. So you do want to use your sensory tools to help you uh, manage sensory issues, especially if you're experiencing sensory overload. Another way you can deal with sensory management is by adjusting your environment. This could include, if you're able to, sometimes you're in an environment you have no control over. But if you're able to, this could include the dimming of lights. Wearing a noise canceling headphones can help you engage in sensory management. Dimming of the lights would be great. I wear noise canceling headphones everywhere I go outside the house. I have these big blue headphones. Mine are noise canceling and Bluetooth, because not only do I want to cancel the noise and quiet it down, I do better if I'm interacting with people, if I have to, which is not one of my top 10 things to do at times when I'm in public, but it's okay. And I will have music streaming that I find calming and relaxing to me. It could be at my Spotify playlist I found, which I'll put a link to that in the video description, where you can listen to music that's designed specifically for those of us on the spectrum. Or I just listen to some of my favorite music playlists. I love 80s music. I'm such an 80s guy. I love 80s. I mean, let me see if I can reach this down here. Hold on one second. I love the 80s so much. I got this book, and it's the Billboard Hot 100 charts, every one of them from 1980 through 1989. So I have every single one of these charts in here, and I can refer to them at any time. I listen to American Top 40, Classic American Top 40 on iHeartRadio. I'll put a link to that in the video description as well. Another thing that you could do, a third strategy you can try, because we talked about sensory management and we talked about self care, is to communicate your needs to others. Now, when you are feeling more autistic than normal, take the time to inform others by letting them know when you are feeling overwhelmed and need space or adjustments. Now, the ideal situation is the people that you're going to share this with already know that you're on the spectrum and accept it and are allies of yours. However, there are sometimes you're going to be in an environment where that pre-information has not been shared. And it may be a little bit difficult for you to share that you're feeling overwhelmed and need space or adjustments. But you can still do it. Ask respectfully, can we turn down the lights or down the noise a little bit? I mean, you see people in restaurants at times. I've done this. Can you close the blinds? The sun from that window is hitting me in the eyes. Or can you turn up the air conditioning or turn down the heater or adjust the music? It's a little bit too hot, too cold, or too noisy in here for me and my companion, my date, my wife, whatever. So you can ask. You don't have to always reveal that you're on the spectrum, but you can ask for adjustments and make sure they're reasonable. But also understand, like there are times I've asked, can you close that blinds over there? And the waitress will explain to me, not while there's somebody sitting at that table, because they're not allowed to do that when someone's there. But no one's sitting at the table, they can do that. So also be understanding, you can make that a requestment for an adjustment, but there may be reasons why they cannot fulfill it, and you want them to be understanding about your needs. It's a two-way street. You have to understand what limitations and rules and all that they are working under. So keep that in mind. Now, be sure, another thing you can do in communicating your needs to others, and this is more internal, but it's important. Be sure to set boundaries by clearly communicating your limits and what you need to feel comfortable. Now we talk about setting boundaries, and we need to do them within ourselves first and know what our boundaries are, and then we can communicate them to others. What you need to feel comfortable. And sometimes I take a look at my boundaries and say, you know what? I don't like loud, crowded areas. And there's no way I'm going to be able to ask Weird Al Yankovic, can we limit the number of people who are at the concert and can you keep the volume down? Because that's not going to really fly that well. So sometimes I have to make a choice. Am I going to make sure my boundaries are met so I can feel comfortable? Or am I going to go into an area where my boundaries are going to be crossed? But I really want to do this because I want to participate in this. It's something each person has to make up for themselves. But to when you're feeling more autistic than normal, make sure your boundaries are clearly communicating to others what your limits are and what you need to feel comfortable with. That goes back to asking for adjustments or reasonable accommodations that makes the event that you're at, the situation you're in, inclusive of all, and all does include you. And do not forget to seek support when you need it. This part of communication. Talk to trusted friends, family members, allies, and advocates for autistic adults like yourself, and a therapist about your experiences. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about therapists in a moment, but the fourth category is consider professional support. And there are two main types of professional support you may wish to engage in when you're feeling more autistic than normal: therapy and support groups. Now, therapy often involves consulting with a therapist, usually in a one on one setting, and the therapist should be specialized in autism to help you develop coping mechanisms and understand your needs better. Now, seeing a therapist, which could be a psychiatrist, psychologist, a counselor, someone like that, some people don't want to do. They feel a stigma with it. But there's no shame in seeking out therapy. There's no shame in asking for help. If we were meant to do everything on our own here on Earth, why are there over 8 billion people on this planet? We're all on this planet together and we're all here to help each other. We all have strengths and weaknesses. And when we have an area that has a weakness in it, we need to find somebody that has that strength in that area to help us. And we may be able to reciprocate with them because one of our strengths may be one of their weaknesses. There's no shame in seeking out therapy. I've done it myself in my life. I've seen psychiatrists, psychologists, and counselors and therapists. I've seen them all. There's no shame in it at all. The other way you can seek out or consider professional support is via support groups. Now, support groups can be either formal, which is going to be more like working with a therapist, professional support, or informal groups. Now, formal groups may be ran or led by a therapist or other specialists who work with autistic adults, while informal groups can be led by a fellow autistic adult and may be a bit more informal. Either the formal or informal support groups are a place where you can connect with other autistic adults, where everyone can share their own experiences and gain insight from each other. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, something that you do that helps you when you're feeling more autistic than other times, by sharing that, could be an inspiration for somebody else who's struggling with it and does not know what to do. So now it's your turn. And speaking of sharing, and remember this from the 90s, if you know, Barney, sharing means caring. Well, that's the time for you to share. Share your thoughts on this video. What do you do that helps you when you're feeling more autistic than normal? What helps you by you sharing it can inspire somebody else who's going through that difficult time, who watched this video and wants to know what they can do to get through their own struggles. And that's what it's all about, helping one another. So share your comments about this video, what helps you, or if you have an idea for a video topic, put it in the comments as well. You can comment right here on this video or during the conversation in our Facebook group, Autistic Adults Embracing Autism. A link to that group is in the video description. Now, I may not be able to reply to every single comment, but rest assured, I do read each and every one of them, and they mean a lot to me. I really love hearing your thoughts. It tells me that you're listening and that you are engaged in this, and it makes me feel like I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I'm making a difference in the world. And to me, that's the most important thing every one of us can do, is make a difference in this world. So until next time, this is Chris Mitchell, aka The Confident Autistic, reminding you that now is a time for you to embrace autism confidently. Join me live Thursday nights for The Confident Autistic Live, where I answer your questions, we discuss this week's videos, offer support, and more. The fun starts Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time in the US of A. Be sure to click the bell when you subscribe to the channel to be notified when the party begins.